Cubbie, the Mackinac Island bear. Based on the true childhood stories of Dale Gensman, as told by Julie Angeli and Heather Maloke, illustrated by Janet Angeli Sandro. Have you ever been to Mackinac Island? It's a fantastically fun-filled place with tons of yummy fudge, clapping horses, no cars, and one bear. Cubbie, that's me. I don't live on Mackinac Island anymore, but I used to. Why don't you settle in and I'll tell you about it. I was born in 1941 in northern Michigan and was cared for by a man called Spikehorn at the Spikehorn Creek Bear Den. But I didn't stay at the den for long. Someone purchased me as a pet, so Spikehorn nestled me in a basket and plopped me on a ferry. The ferry rolled and rocked through the Straits of Mackinac. The waves were choppy, sloppy, and high that day. As soon as the ferry stopped, the aromas of fudge, lilac blooms, and the fabulous fish-filled lake tickled my nose. And when a bear comes across a yummy smell, well, he has to investigate. Before I had the chance to check things out, I was scooped up by my new owner. "I'm Tony," he said, "and I'll call you Cubbie. All the kids on this island are waiting for you." My heart melted like warm fudge. When we stepped onto the bustling street, the kids whooped and cheered. I tried to smile and cheer back, but all that came out was a howly little growl. Tony plunked me in his bicycle basket. We whizzed past a soda shop, a stone church, and a schoolhouse. The bicycle cruised along the rocky shore and up into the wooded hill. We turned down a gravelly drive with a huge mansion in the distance. Tony stopped the bike at a small gatehouse. "Welcome home, Cubbie," Tony said. He set me in front of the tiny house. "You'll be sleeping here." Out of my new home shot a yappy little dog. I almost flipped backwards in surprise. "Cubbie, this is Trixie, your new roommate," said Tony. Trixie danced in circles, begged me to chase her, so we raced around until the sun went down. Kids came to visit me often. I did my best to walk like them and talk like them. But sometimes, no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop myself from climbing a tree and leaving my friends behind. And even though Tony tied me to his doghouse while he was doing chores, sometimes, being a bear, I just had to take a swim. For some reason, as the trees turned colors, I couldn't stop eating. Tony gave me food from his garden, but I was still hungry. A local restaurant gave me all its leftovers, but I was still hungry. So I plucked apples straight from the trees until finally I wasn't hungry anymore. I was just exhausted. I didn't want to stop playing with Trixie or the kids or Tony, but all I could think about was sleeping. Tony made a bed for me like the one at Spikehorn's. I crawled in it and slept for a long time. When the thick snow and ice on the island began to melt, I woke up. I couldn't wait to play with my friends. I was much bigger now. I couldn't fit in the doghouse with Trixie anymore, but I could stand up on one leg. I could stack and unstack blocks of wood at the carpenter shop. I could even play with old Swayback, but he didn't like me very much. People from all over the world began to hear about me since I was the one and only bear on Mackinac Island. Even movie stars came to see me. Tony would take me all over the island. We visited the village at the top of the bluff where the Native Americans lived. We rode in a speedboat to see the lighthouse and neighboring islands. Tony took me to the soda shop. I would walk in on two legs and sit to enjoy some treats with my friends. Sometimes before I got too tired and had to hibernate, Tony would take me sledding and ice skating. Tony was always there for me. One time, I really needed a midnight snack. I found a bucket of honey that was gooey, sticky, and sweet. I couldn't let any of it go to waste. I reached my face in to lick every last drop. Then I had a problem. I cried for Tony as loud as I could. My growls rose to the tree tops. My howls rumbled through the hills. Finally, Tony rushed out and yanked the bucket free, and there were all my friends. They were better than any bucket of honey, but I loved Tony best of all. One spring, when I was an older bear, I woke up early from my winter sleep. Tony was always waiting for me when I woke, but this time, he wasn't there. I waited a long, long time, but Tony never came back. It was no fun without him. I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel like going into town anymore to drink a soda pop. I didn't want to swim or ride a speedboat. I didn't feel like walking on 2 feet. I just wanted to be by myself like a bear. I wandered down the frozen beach. I put one paw on the ice covering the lake, and then another. By the time I knew it, I was on Round Island, and I've been here ever since. Today, some say if you stand on Mackinac shore and look really close out at Round Island, you might see bear cubs walking on only 2 legs. But those cubs will never know firsthand about fudge or horses or penny candy at the soda shop or my amazing Tony, because there's only ever been one bear on Mackinac Island. And these here are actual pictures of Cubbie. Sadly, Cubbie outlived Tony. The end.